And as the United Nations General Assembly opens today, marking the 80th anniversary of the global body, we're joined now by Ambassador Hassan Mohammed. He's a former senior consular of Nigeria's mission to the United Nations, also a member of the UN Committee on Contributions and former deputy ambassador to the United States. Thank you so much for joining us on Newsnight.
Thank you.
UN at 80, very, I mean, it definitely has come of age.
A long way.
Utan's grandson and Burmese diplomat, of course, Utan was former UN Secretary General. He says that the UN is facing a crisis of irrelevance 80 years on. Do you agree with that position? And what would you say that the UN's impact on Africa has been over the years?
I think, to be fair to the United Nations, UN has played a role in a lot of things around the world. The United Nations is not just the Secretariat. The Secretariat and 130 bodies, organs, and offices of the United Nations. They come together and they do a lot of things. Some things that you see as if they're not the work of the UN, you'll be surprised to see that they are the ones doing the job.
Right.
Yes, so in my own assessment, I believe the UN is still relevant in world affairs.
And of course, the second leg of my question, in terms of the UN's impact on Africa over the years, would you say it's been mutually beneficial or it's been a one-sided, you know, I mean, how would you assess the UN's impact on Africa?
Yeah, the UN has assisted Africa in a lot of ways, in as much as they could do better. But we don't have an organization standing today in this world that assist not only Africa, but assist the whole world, especially in Asia, in Africa, the whole world, I mean Asia, Latin America, Africa, and a host of others. But the developed world, they always want to have their ways. So when it comes to trying to try to be modest or try to be impartial, there's always selfishness in their approaches. But on a general note, there is no organization on earth that can be an equivalent of the UN.
Okay, you seem to be very optimistic and positive, perhaps the glass being half full, not half empty. But when you recall that when this charter was signed 80 years ago, most African nations were being colonized. They were colonies.
Correct.
80 years after, have they really benefited? I mean, Charter 1 talks about security and peace, equality. We have 5 permanent members in the United Nations Security Council.
Yes.
Not one African country on there. So how is this equal? How is this justifiable? Why has Africa been so marginalized and left out of the most powerful decision-making table?
Yeah, we are only concerned about Africa. But when you talk of membership of the Security Council, it's not only Africa that's been exempted. When you look at Asia and you look at Latin America, I mean, the founding fathers came together in 1942. And they came up with, and most countries were colonies of those in one way or the other, of these developed countries that that formed the UN. So they still believe they are the ones in charge, and they look at you with certain eyes that betrays the feeling of equality. The feeling of equality of states, the feeling of mutual respect. So this is something that is natural, is human. When someone is in charge and he has been long in that process, it's always difficult for him to.
But doesn't make
get
it
out of
right.
It
That's
doesn't.
not justifiable.
No, it's not. I'm not justifying it.
Yes.
Yes, but it's always the case that people aspire to be what the other is, and the other will want to push down because they don't want competitors. That's how I see it.
In other words, maybe United Nations has really not served Africa well. I mean, why should Africa continue to, be a part of the global body if she cannot have at least one country, be in the Security Council, which it has sought, for as long as possible?
Yeah, the Security Council, I mean, it's not that Africa has not been trying. Most countries, they came up with, they wanted an expansion of the United Nations Security Council. Yes, as I said, not only Africa, but they want the reform that was slated in 2001, a report was made, and they gave Africa 2 slots, that in case they are going to expand it, Africa will have 2 slots. And the slots, they said, Arab Africa will have 1, and Black Africa will have another. So, but it has been watered down, and in actual fact, you see that we developing countries, we are lacking in so many things.
Right.
Yes.
Like what?
Like the technology, because you can't be a world power without being a nuclear technology country. And the level of development and all that is not only restricted to Africa, is Latin America, the same thing, Asia, the same thing, and some parts of Eastern Europe. So it will take a long way, it will take a long time, because with that proposal in 2002, up till now, they are still there. They've not moved an inch.
That's a long time.
Do you think that perhaps Africa has not strategized enough or hasn't spoken in unison enough? What seems to be the problem? And I do hear you when you say it's not only Africa that has been left out, but forgive me, I mean, charity begins at home. We're talking about the most populous Black continent, I mean, the Black continent of the world, and we do not have a representative at the UN Security Council. So when we speak about
With
Africa,
a population of over a billion, what about over 1.3
billion,
billion,
and
That's
growing
right.
rapidly.
That's right. And still growing.
I think that it's important that we should have Africa sit at that table. President Bola Tinubu has been speaking, about Nigeria particularly having a seat there. Do you think Nigeria can do it? And beyond Nigeria, how can Africa practically ensure that beyond these voices of reforms, it becomes a reality?
The issue is the P5, that's the permanent 5 of the UN.
Yeah.
Whatever you want, or whatever proposals you have to have their backing. And they don't seem to be willing to give off their veto rights. They don't seem to be ready to encourage others to come and be with them. So the best they could do is they have the E10, that's the elected 10 members plus the permanent 5, they make 15 members. And since the UN was established, that is the standard membership. And Nigeria has been trying a lot. Every time, I remember when we were there in 1998, that was the big thing. People were saying we need to be members, and at that time Nigeria was doing very well. And we thought before maybe it won't take 10 years, we'll eventually be members, but up till now. So it's not that Nigeria has not tried, it's not that Africa has not tried, but the permanent 5 are not willing.
Okay.
Yes.
We'll have to leave it there. Ambassador Hassan Mohammed, former senior consular at Nigeria's mission to the United Nations. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
We have to make ourselves stronger from within so that we can actually have a place at the global table. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thanks a lot.